Next, we have some stories related to nuclear power plants here in Japan. The operator of a defunct nuclear plant near Tokyo says over 3 tons of radioactive wastewater may have leaked from a tank inside one of its buildings over the last 18 months. Tons of water containing low levels of radioactive material had leaked from the tank. A closer inspection revealed that about 2.2 more tons may have leaked outside since 2010. The water is believed to have seeped out of pipes connected to the tank. Workers found no leaks to the building's exterior. The operator of the Fukushima Daiichi plant has decided to pay damages to some residents in areas not covered under state guidelines for compensation. Tokyo Electric Power Company is preparing to compensate residents of 23 cities and villages around the plant for the emotional distress they have suffered. 26 other municipalities are also asking for compensation. TEPCO on Wednesday decided to pay damages to children and pregnant women in 9 of the municipalities. The utility will continue to exclude the other 17 from compensation.
Prime Minister Yoshihiko Noda is expected to outline a new vision for defending nuclear power plants. Sources close to the Japanese government say he'll lay out his plan at the upcoming Nuclear Security Summit in Seoul. Noda is expected to stress the importance of preparing for any contingency based on lessons from the Fukushima accident. Sources close to the Prime Minister say he'll underscore the necessity for an immediate response, whether the cause is a natural disaster or terrorism. They say the Prime Minister will emphasize the need for trained emergency response teams and proper equipment. Noda is expected to promise to increase the number of security guards at nuclear facilities and strengthen inspections. The sources say Noda will introduce new steps to protect not only reactors but also outdoor facilities, such as the seawater pumps used to cool them.
Ron, the Land Ministry has released the average land prices in Japan today. What is the detail?
Well, it looks like they are down again, Michio. In fact, for a 4th year in a row, this really underscores now the impact of the March 11th disaster on real estate prices in affected areas. The Land Ministry released the results on Thursday. It does show that prices in residential areas fell by 2.3% from a year ago and in commercial areas by 3.1%. The survey this time did include Fukushima, Iwate, and Miyagi, 3 northeastern prefectures that were the worst hit by last year's disaster. Excluded, though, were 17 locations around the damaged nuclear plant in Fukushima. Land prices fell at all locations in Iwate and Fukushima for both residential and commercial areas. One coastal district, Kesunuma in Miyagi, was devastated by the tsunami. Land prices there saw an 18.3% decline in residential areas. That's the steepest drop in the nation. But land prices on higher ground district in Ishinomaki of the same prefecture shot up 60.7%. That's the sharpest rise in the nation. That's because the land is considered to be too distant from the coastline for tsunamis to reach.
Japanese housing maker Daiwa House Industry will market next month prefabricated structures for growing vegetables. They look like small cargo containers. Daiwa developed the structure with a floor size of 10 square meters using its prefab housing technology. The unit is equipped with systems and installations that are needed to grow vegetables. They include shelves, an air conditioner, and lighting to promote photosynthesis. Daiwa House says it takes only about a day or so to set up the unit, as it's partly assembled before being delivered to the site.
People want a stable supply of safe food.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates.
Those needs are growing, not only in Japan, but also worldwide.
You never know what you're going to get.
We can offer this system at significantly cheaper prices than facility investments up to now.
2 types will be offered. One will be priced at about $100,000, the other at $65,000. Daiwa House plans to sell the prefab units to restaurants, convenience stores, and hotels. They can then serve their own fresh vegetables to their customers.
I'm entitled. You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
今学校こちらの学校はどうですか？
今も悲惨な状況なんです。本当でしたらば子供を入れずに安全なところで済ませ教育をさせるべきなんです。しかし南相馬の三田桜井が取った方法は従業員で仕事をやらせるために従業員の家族を済ませたい。しかしメイヤーは1日100万円以上かけてスクールバスを運行して済ませながら遠くへ子供を運んでるんです。起業家の圧力が市長を押して市長が起業家の圧力を聞くことによって子供が自動的に連れてこられている。子供は犠牲者です。
Japan's education ministry will provide municipalities with funds to offer more school programs on the risks and dangers of nuclear power plants. Before the disaster at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant, government subsidies only covered programs explaining the uses of nuclear energy. The ministry will also lift its requirement on local authorities to devote more than 30% of energy education funds to nuclear power. This will allow schools to allocate more money to programs on alternative energy. Some survivors of last year's March disaster are expressing their hope for reconstruction in an unusual way. They gathered in an immobilized train carriage for a karaoke party. A local non-profit group organized the event on a disabled train at a station in Ofunato, Iwate Prefecture. Operations on about two-thirds of the Sanriku railway line were suspended after the tsunami swept away stations and tracks. About 30 people sang their favorite songs.
I think singing gives us energy, and it also makes everyone here happy. Singing brings us a ray of hope.
The karaoke event on the train will be held once a month. The train will also be open Sundays when visitors can sing for free.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Forgive me. I'm sorry. I thought that was the stupidest answer, but obviously you know something. There's got to be two other people in the 100.
Go ahead. Make my day.
The International Atomic Energy Agency says it has begun talks with North Korea on how to monitor a planned moratorium on the North's uranium enrichment activities. The IAEA appears to be proceeding with the talks despite the North's announcement of an impending rocket launch. Other countries have reacted angrily. An IAEA source says the talks began after the agency received an invitation from the North on Friday. Details of the talks remain unknown. But IAEA Director General Yukiya Amano had said earlier that he may visit the country if asked to do so. The invitation coincided with the North's announcement that it would launch a satellite-carrying rocket. The announcement drew angry reactions from the United States and its allies, since the North had promised to suspend missile launches along with its uranium enrichment in exchange for U.S. food aid.
The average pump price for a liter of gasoline in Japan has hit its highest level in 3 years and 5 months. This is due to rising crude oil prices and also the depreciating yen. The Oil Information Center says as of Monday, the retail price for a liter of gasoline averaged 155.6 yen. That's about $1.87. It's also up more than 3 cents from the previous week, the fifth consecutive monthly increase. The higher cost of oil imports because of the weakening Japanese currency has pushed up pump prices by 14 cents per liter over the past month. The center says, though, that retail gasoline prices have still not risen by as much as the jump seen in crude oil prices. It's predicting that gasoline prices will rise further as crude prices do not appear likely to come down anytime soon.
Japan's securities watchdog has launched an investigation into AIJ Investment Advisors on Friday on suspicion of defrauding its clients.
Here's Johnny!
AIJ allegedly misrepresented its position when taking investment because it wanted additional funds to recoup past losses.
You talking to me? You talking to me? Talking to me? Well, then who the hell else are you talking to? Talking to me? Well, I'm the only one here.
The Tokyo-based asset manager lost most of its roughly $1.8 billion entrusted to it by other firms and pension funds. It has ready access to only around $97 million. Sources say that in a bid to cover up the huge losses, AIJ President Kazuhiko Asakawa fabricated investment statements and made accountants falsify audit reports. The sources say the firm tricked new clients into buying financial products for high prices, although their value had sharply declined as a result of AIJ's investment failures. The Financial Services Agency also plans to strip AIJ of its registration as an asset manager.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.